1, 2, 3. Greetings and salutations.
The universe is just doomed.
Out of your mind?
You are so ugly, Bob. You know it's gonna cramp your style with babes, big time. You know that, huh? Especially little Miss Priss over there.
Hello.
Hi.
Here we are.
We're here.
Once again.
Right behind you.
And before we get too far into this, we're just going to, I know some of y'all don't always watch, you've never seen these movies when you listen to our show.
Oh, that's true. And you know what? We used to have
a trigger warning, NSFW content warning in our intro.
But we removed it.
But this time,
We're going to put it back.
we're going to give you a little bit of warning that it's about to get dork.
Like, yeah.
I mean,
and
like,
we're gonna
keep it
part
light,
of the problem is
but-
that we're gonna make jokes
Yes.
while
About
it
some
gets
dark
'cause
things.
This is a very dark comedy. So
It
just so
is.
you know, if you ain't down to laugh at some fucked up
We're
shit.
talking serial killer. We're talking a rapist. We're talking child pornography. We're talking
they're kidnapping.
child abuse,
We're
drug
talking-
abuse, bad things
all horrible things.
that we're
So
going to keep funny.
We're gonna
which
try.
means
Because this movie's real fucking funny.
it's a good movie. and
It's a good
funny.
movie.
And if you're into that kind of shit, then you're
then
going to
I
be
am.
down for it.
So if you really enjoy a dark comedy, then stick around because we're doing Freeway
Freeway from
Freeway.
1996.
But if you're not into it, then just go listen to something
Right,
older
go listen
or
to
wait
something
until next week when
little
we're
bit
going to do
lighter.
something even worse.
right? So we have Liana here with us, and we've decided she is
You're a beef treat.
Liana's the beef treat. So we'll
I'm going to look you dead in the eye, tell you about how you're my beef treat.
That's right.
Catch me if I can be.
And get the business out of the way.
Do it.
Follow us on Instagram at Doom Generation Pod for free bonus content. Join our Patreon for the low starting price of $2 a month at patreon.com/Doom Generation. Leave us a voicemail at 702-720-DOOM. Sign our yearbook by leaving an Apple review or sending an email titled yearbook review to doomgenerationpodcast@gmail.com. The end.
The end.
And now,
Fiend.
Freeway.
Here we go. You ready to get on this freeway?
We got music by Danny Elfman.
Which I
Didn't ever even
It
know.
didn't even occur to me.
Nope.
Because what did we find out?
And the director of this movie was in and helped write Forbidden Zone.
Right.
Which is a Richard Elfman film
Yes.
that I saw in the 90s. I want to cover
know.
it, but maybe I just tell the story now because I don't know if we can
I don't
get into Forbidden
know.
Zone. Maybe we'll get into it on another show or something.
Or if we'll do a Patreon that's just Forbidden Zone.
'Cause if you haven't seen Richard Elfman's Forbidden Zone with Danny Elfman,
I mean,
he's not Satan in it, right? Is he?
He's Satan in real life. I don't know what you.
He's a devil for sure.
Playing
He's
himself?
like the devil, yeah.
A demon?
Basically himself. In fact, I think all of Oingo Boingo is in Forbidden Zone.
Probably.
I think they're like the hell band.
My hell band.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And what's her name who plays the little one in Big Top Pee-wee? Midge.
Oh, Susan Tyrell.
Susan Tyrell is the queen of hell.
Of course.
And then what's his name? Hervé,
Villaches.
yes, is the king of hell.
Hervé Villaches.
Tattoo from Fantasy Island.
Tattoo.
And that movie is a fucking trip. And I saw it
Yeah.
at a midnight movie at your theater where you
No,
worked.
that wasn't
It
at my theater. No,
I
it was
swear
the one.
it was the Cinema Star.
It had to have been the university one.
Oh, it could have been. You're
Because
right.
that's what I'm saying. It's a chain.
Yeah.
And it was not that one because
might
it
have
would
been
have
university.
been. I would have gone if it was at that one.
Yeah. Okay. And so that was my English teacher and her little brother who I was friends with. We all went to go see this because
Right.
they were big Oingo Boingo. They knew all about this. I was like, I had no idea. They were older than me.
And that was the one that at that theater they played like the films.
Yeah.
Like that was where we would go do the Spike and Mike and Spikes
Yeah.
or whatever. And that's where we went to see Lost Highway.
Yes.
And like all of those, like those were the ones that played over there.
So
like,
yeah,
we just
then it
had
probably was
the regular movie releases.
And they knew he was going to be there, and I think they brought stuff like they had movie posters or something for him to sign. Like they already knew.
And didn't tell you? You didn't bring a Red Hot Chili Peppers poster for him to sign?
I didn't bring my Red Hot Chili Peppers poster for Richard Elfman. But so he was there, and he sat in the audience and like had a mic and did like talk like over Q&A. The film about like this is what was happening. Like this is how we got these people, and this is how this happened. So it was really cool. But yeah, those people are fucking creepy as fuck.
Oh yeah, no, like just to look, just to gaze upon them. My goodness.
Yes, but they're not in it. But so yeah, so one of the guys who was in Forbidden Zone who helped write it is
the director of this movie.
Film.
Right.
So the cast is Reese Witherspoon as Vanessa Lutz.
We got Kiefer Sutherland as Bob Wolverton.
Bokeem Woodbine as Chopper.
Oh, I love that name, Bokeem Woodbine.
I know.
I have to say it.
Amanda Plummer plays Vanessa's mom, Ramona Lutz.
Brooke Shields as Mimi Wolverton.
Brittany Murphy as Rhonda.
Dan Hedaya with Detective Garner, who was also in Clueless with Brittany Murphy.
And Adam's family. He's the one who got rid of his kid.
That's right.
Or no, he died before the kid disappeared, right? She killed
Tully,
him off.
yeah,
Tully.
that's right.
Yeah.
And we have Alana Urbach as Mosquito.
Mosquito.
And the late, great Conchata Ferrell as Miss Sheets.
Yes. And
but yeah.
So it's clearly a Little Red Riding Hood story.
Yes, they start with, and you know how I love an animated or cartoony type of opening.
Yeah.
And these are like hand-drawn. I don't know who the fuck did it, but I love it.
Hand-drawn.
Yes.
Little Red Riding Hood, where instead of it being a little girl, it's these busty
right, with a lot
babes.
Of panties.
And it's multiple. It's not one Riding Hood.
Seriously.
It's lots of them.
Well, because then they talk about that too. It's like, oh, there's a killer on the loose, like a little bit later on down the line. We'll get there, but there's multiple Little Red Riding Hoods getting attacked by the wolf,
and it's all one wolf. It looks
right.
like.
It's the big bad wolf, girl. It's the big bad wolf, girl.
And so we open on a remedial reading classroom.
Oh God, she's struggling so hard to read. The cat drinks the milk.
And when she does it with much difficulty, everyone is so excited.
She's like, drown.
And she's like, think.
Yeah, like,
thinks.
Drink some.
Yeah.
And she like does that. Yeah, I got it. The cat drinks the milk.
And her boyfriend is so excited they go to make out town for congratulations. And the teacher's just like,
all right, are you properly rewarded for your efforts or whatever?
For your forward sentence. So she rides on Chopper's handlebars after school, happy as can be.
Right. And these outfits. The Dickies with the cutoff with that belt.
I had that shit.
That pull-on, that vinyl belt that you got at the Dickies outlet to go with your Dickies.
Yep.
And that halter crop top that you used to be able to wear
to school.
Yep. You could do it. Well, if you pulled your pants up high enough, you could get away with that like 2-finger rule, 2-finger lid,
right?
2-finger midriff.
They
rule.
didn't like start making that rule until I think after like the year after I graduated. I got away with it all 4 years of high school.
Well, I was also, I don't know, I was wearing different things. But yes, these outfits, I felt these outfits.
Yeah, for sure. I had a note about it later, but now's as good a time as any.
Yes.
And so she's happy as can be until she sees Mama working the corner.
She's out there on the stroll and she's like desperate.
Oh, yeah. You said you weren't going to do this no more, Mama.
You don't know nothing.
If you're going to smart ass me, you just go on home.
Right. And like she goes back into the motel room that they're staying. And her mom, Amanda Plummer, she's got these cold sores.
Ugh. She's so good at being.
I know. And she's Christopher Plummer's daughter.
That's crazy.
Like we found that out. Like I just found that. Oh, we did what? The Last Unicorn? Because her mom is Molly Grew.
We talked about it,
And Christopher Plummer is her dad. And I was like, what?
That's crazy.
And then once you look at her, you're like, oh, yeah, I see it.
But she's so good at being this unhinged kind of character.
She does this trashy shit really well. And even in like So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yeah.
She's great
As
in
a
that
murderer?
too.
Oh, yeah,
She's
yeah.
like as a crazy person.
Yes.
An unhinged person. She's
sure.
fantastic. So
she goes in the house and fucking Larry,
Oh,
her
fucking
stepdad,
Larry.
blocking the door.
let me buy.
Fuck you, you piece of shit.
He's like, we've been out in line for rent vouchers all day. We could use some consideration.
Yeah. She asked him, didn't it bother you your own wife sucking strange guys off for
Make her
money?
Use mouthwash.
Oh, yeah, you live her minty fresh. And so mom's outside. Another dude pulls up. Hey, motherfucker, you want some company? Yeah.
Yeah, hey, motherfucker.
And then back to inside where Vanessa's watching cartoons with stepdad and a special bulletin breaks in.
Right. There was another body found in Torrance, and that's a place I'm very familiar with and have fond memories of.
2 females were found with extensive prostitution records that are new victims of the I-5 killer.
Right. And poor Corky Poindexter from Bellflower and the other one's from Downey, and they're both sex workers. Sex workers. Sex workers from the I-5 killer. And then Larry changes the channel and Vanessa's like, oh, you don't want to hear about it because, like, what if he come and picked up mom right now?
She can take care of herself.
Yeah, she'd kick his ass.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
exactly.
doubt it.
She would.
And he was like, and besides, that's all the way up in LA. So this is
So
south
they're-
of LA.
Yeah, we're not sure how
somewhere.
far, but
No.
south.
Down
And
by
so
the
he
tracks,
lights up
that's for
his
sure.
speed pipe or whatever right next to her on the couch.
Right. Like she's trying to watch whatever and he's getting all high and freebasing and like.
Starts getting all handsy.
Yes, of course.
Get your goddamn hands off my anatomy or I swear to fucking God.
Yeah, she like first like she fights him off or whatever. And then we go back and we see Ramona like leaning into the car.
Yeah, trying
with
to
this,
trying to
like-
get this dude to tell her what do you want me to do.
Right. She's like, well, I bet you like you have your wiener sucked.
So one time, Tessa knows what's coming.
I do. It's a wiener.
So one time, I had a boyfriend. I was a teenager who was very sweet and shy. And in the bedroom, I'm a little bit less sweet and shy. And I told him I wanted him to talk dirty to me. And he was like, what do you mean?
CC.
And I was like, and he's like, what do you mean? And I go, well, I want you to tell me what to do. And he got this panicked look in his eye, like fucking deer in headlights, and was like, I'm really not comfortable with that. And I'm like, but I really like it. Like, I really want you to do it. And I don't know. I talked him into it somehow, and he looks at me in all earnestness, naked as a jaybird, and says to me, suck my wiener. And I started dying laughing, and he turned all shades
of
of
course,
red
as
and
you
was
would.
so upset, and no
As it
sex
would
happened
be.
that
Of course
night.
not.
And
Not
I
after
was
that.
like, I'm sorry, but
That was
I
my
did
natural
not
reaction.
see suck my wiener coming. I'm sorry.
There was also a time where I was like, not like in a moment of like talk dirty to me, but like when somebody used the word breasts.
Oh my God.
And I was like, no, come on.
I don't know that I've had that happen.
Let's not.
Let's not get clinical.
I mean,
all
I
right?
get
Use
it.
the dirty
You're
words
trying to
at
be
dirty
respectful,
times.
but these are not respectful times. Like, come on.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
So yeah, I had to tell that story real quick because you can't pass up a.
No, because
You look like you need to have your wiener sucked.
You look like the kind of guy that needs your wiener sucked. I'll suck your wiener for $30.
$30. Sheriff's Department, you're under
He
arrest.
drops the fucking hammer.
And all these dudes pull up, which sex
I
work
mean,
should
come
be legal.
on.
We're just
Come
gonna
on.
come out. Doom Generation believes sex work
Why
should be
are we
legal.
going after them?
It should be legal and regulated and safe for the girls.
Absolutely.
And taxed and what? Well, okay,
Or,
I don't know about taxes.
fuck that shit too. But like,
For other
it
reasons,
should be
but-
safe and
Yes.
it should be a thing that you're able to do
Get
because
your-
obviously and
Yes.
clearly there is a market for it. So let's just remove the fucking stigma.
So this is some bullshit because
this is some bullshit. Well, you know,
We're doing some sex work stings, getting this poor bitch for
Right.
$30 fucking
popping
BJs.
her for some $30 BJs.
It
Who's
ain't
she
like
fucking
she's
hurting?
right?
losers that want their wiener sucked.
And if she was really gonna suck their wiener, she ain't hurting nobody.
No, she's not hurting nobody. Well, she might give them the herpes.
That's true. Looking at that mouth.
I mean, but that's up to you. You take your life in your hands. Like, she's right down there by the railroad tracks. Like, you've seen her.
It's like a whole sting. They arrest her. They find her speed pipe.
Mm-hmm.
My little girl's at home.
Right. She's finally got her, and it's like,
she just got her back from Children's Services and is afraid she's going to get taken away again.
This is probable cause. We're going to have to search your room. And
this is where she throws her pumpkin tantrum, her honey bunny tantrum.
Yes.
She has a whole, no,
right. Like
at
first she goes quietly, but then they were like, we're going to have to fucking hog tie you. And they do. Later on, they hog tie her. Like, I feel like she spent a lot of her career hog tied. I know that's not true,
but it seems okay to say
like
that. Yeah,
it was always on the way to hog tying Amanda Plummer.
So the door is open. Porno is blasting on the TV.
Oh, fucking Larry's on top of Vanessa.
Is on top of Vanessa. Thankfully, clothed still, but it's not like this is the fucking first time.
No, this is not the first time.
And so the cops come in and stop whatever's happening.
Diddling the daughter, Larry.
And she still doesn't narc on any. It's like, oh, my parents are just having a hard time financially.
Going through a hard time financially, and like they're shitty.
Yeah, Larry and Mama are cracking up on the couch.
Right, they're
high
giggling.
As fuck.
Like, are you mad at me, honey?
Please don't be mad. Give me a hug. I ain't gonna see you for a long time.
Like, poor Vanessa. Her mom can't even keep it together for her. Like anyone else. Like, and fucking Larry. Like,
so she still loves her mom.
Of course.
You love me. I love you.
She's like, give her a fucking cigarette. Like, just give it to her.
She won't shut up till you give
right.
her a
Just
cigarette.
fucking give it to her. And like, social services are on their way. There's a fucking knee in her neck.
Yeah, and it doesn't show. You just presume she went nuts again when they tried to put her in the car.
Right. Well, because now she's hogtied.
Yeah.
Like, Larry's in the back seat. He's giggling. He's laughing his fucking tits off. And like, she's hogtied. It's like a whole thing. Because he was freebasing before.
Yes.
That's when he gets rapey. Is when he freebases.
So Vanessa doesn't want to go to foster care.
No, she's like, well, I'll just come and stay with you, like little Miss Cop Lady. Like, I could do all kinds of chores while you're out there messing people up.
And she's like, oh, we have rules against that. She's like,
like,
no, you
just
don't.
Say you don't want to do it. She's like, well, I don't want to do it.
Like,
yeah,
you're.
I don't want to do it.
And so she's the social worker or probation officer.
Right, because she mentions probation
different.
officer later, but I feel like that's just what she says. I don't think it's like, I think she's a social worker.
So
because why would they call her probation officer?
Yeah.
They called the social worker.
Well, unless she would have also been on probation because she had a lot of arrests.
And
probation and
true,
social services are connected. So that may have been her probation officer who then would have turned her over to social services.
Well, maybe.
Which is why she was notified right away.
Maybe.
So,
maybe.
I
guess
seems
they're friendly.
nice. They hug. She's open to suggestions besides foster care.
Right. She's like, if you know anybody, and she's like, oh, my grandma will most likely take me in. My grandma on my father's side. Like, she doesn't even know about me.
She doesn't know I exist exactly.
Right. And she shows her this picture and what must be a Sanrio wallet, which I confirm
later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we'll come out with that later. But she's like, no, I don't think that's what we're going to do. But, like, can you help me?
Well, she's like, we can't do it tonight. Like, we got to put you somewhere while we try to get a hold of your grandma, basically.
Right. She's like, well, okay, let me get my stuff. Right.
Yeah, so they go in to get her stuff, and she fucking cuffs this chick
right. She was like, oh, I need you to, like,
ankle.
help me pack this blanket. And she's like, this one? She's like, yeah, my mama gave it to me. And then she shackles her to the bed.
And then she gets her stuff and takes off her red basket.
Mm-hmm. And her little red jacket.
And takes this old junker and is off.
Mm-hmm. And then she goes to find
and
Chopper.
Cracks a fucking beer.
She's drinking a beer. That's all she has in that little basket.
And yeah, exactly.
Is like her little beers in the back. I mean, like, that's what I would have taken. But, like, that's just me. But, like, she goes and she's looking for Chopper, and he's out there on the corner, like, arguing.
Right,
with
getting in
another couple of. They're
dudes.
beefing.
Yeah.
They're queefing. Quality beef.
But they walk off when she pulls up.
Right. She comes up honking or whatever. And she's like, if you ever want to see me again, then you better get in this car because we're leaving. He's like, I
got to be in court.
I got sentencing next week. Like, if I miss it, it's like a mandatory year.
Yeah. So he's got to be in court. He can't go with her, but he gives her a handgun.
Right. He's like, it's from Spain.
So you can sell it to finance getting to see your
Right.
grandma.
When you get where you're going, like, you sell it and then they mac. And
I love you so much, Chopper. And then it's fucking
like
Macaroni Town.
macaroni.
That sounds the whole, and she's like moaning.
Right? Put a feather in his cap. Oh, gross.
I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Tessa took off her headphones, you guys.
We were joking about the mukbang earlier. Oh my God. Oh, my ears are already wet. Like that was. That was nasty.
I won't do it again.
All right. Please don't. I'll take them off again.
She gives him a can of beer and drives off crying.
Right.
And he waves in the mirror.
And then as soon as she's gone,
A car rolls up.
he gets rolled up on and shot.
Yep.
Stumbles down the street like cucaracha. He
Can't
dies
shoot
dramatically because he gave
He
her
gave
his
her
gun. So he dies dramatically on the curb. Like,
Yep.
Just like that.
I hit my headphone on the mic, trying not to spit on it.
Again?
So then she gets on the I-5.
Yes, the I-5, and it runs from the Mexican to Canadian border all the way up in Washington. And like her car breaks down pretty quick, I feel like. Yeah.
Like the first fucking, like as soon as she gets on the
Yes, and she is happened upon by Kiefer Sutherland, who is very helpful and very kind.
and tells her car has had it, but he'll give her a ride all the way to LA.
This motherfucking cocksucker won't even turn over.
And he's got elbow patches and glasses, so you know he's just like an innocent man.
The elbow patches clearly, and his Ford Explorer or whatever the fuck
whatever
that
that
is.
was.
Like,
yeah,
I'll take you as far as LA, and she's like, okay.
And so she gets right in his car, and he introduces himself as Bob Wolverton.
Yes, Bob Wolverton.
He works at a boys' school for kids in trouble.
He's a psychologist or a counselor at a school for boys with emotional trouble.
And he asks about her family.
And like she wants to, like, and if she wants to talk about it,
Yeah.
it compels him. His work.
I just have to know. It's just part of my job.
You know, that's just how he is. I see a kid in trouble.
Yeah.
And, you know.
It's just easier to share stuff with a perfect stranger. And she's like,
sometimes
yeah, you know
it is. And
It
you know
is.
what? Sometimes it is.
You want to know what my biggest problem is? My mama's in jail.
Yeah.
And so she tells him she's going to go see her grandma
Right.
and ask why her mom is in jail.
Well, I don't want you to think I'm like a low type person.
Yeah. It makes me look like, a low top person.
Right.
And he's doing that steering wheel thing. Did you notice? The back and
Yes.
forth steering wheel thing
Where
where
it's
like your car would be
unnecessary.
like going beep, beep, like
Right?
veering
Like
back and forth
you
on the
don't need
road.
to do that. Like you could just chill.
And she starts crying and says, my mom is a whore.
My mom is a whore. She's in jail.
And he hands her a tissue and pats her on the back.
Oh, you really don't have anyone, do you?
Oh, that's terrible.
Terrible.
Doesn't seem that upset.
Nope.
Takes her out to dinner. She tells him about her family. Her real dad's dead. This is, you see the Sanrio wallet come out.
Right.
again.
That's Aruno Peckle.
Ah, okay. I wasn't sure which character because it was so
That
fast.
was in there deep.
Yeah. I was like, that's for sure Sanrio, but I don't remember that character.
It was a little white bird, a little, I don't know, it was like a
some
penguin
sort of
or
bird.
something. I don't think it was a penguin. It was a little white bird. But anyhow, she talks about her dad being a long time gone merchant marine, and he died before she was born. And the picture that she shows him
Is an old man.
it's Richard Speck. He's a killer. He's I don't know if you would classify him as a serial killer because he killed all them nurses in that nurse house. There was like 8 of them. One of them got away. That's Richard Speck. He's a mass murderer or whatever. I guess that's what you'd call him. But that's who that is.
That's your true crime moment.
And that's your true crime moment.
And so he tells her he thinks foster care is really the way to go for her. But that's when she tells him.
But is it though?
About her horror stories about foster care.
This old man everybody called Grandpa. He had that disease called Weisenheimer's where your brain cells start leaking out through your pee. It's like, yes, it's a form of senility.
And so she woke up one night to Grandpa jerking off over her
with
and
his
trying
cane
to get
in one
under
hand
the covers.
and his you-know-what in the other.
And he's like, oh, but the foster father came in and he's like, oh, well, there, you got saved. And she's like, well, yeah, he hit me so hard. I had to have my jaw wired shut and he broke my nose.
Right, that's why my nose is so big.
No, it's not.
And he's like...
She's all, it's pretty damn big.
It's not. She got that little button nose. She got the little Reese Witherspoon nose.
I guess compared to her tiny everything else, maybe, but not in real life. It's
her
like
Reese without her spoon nose.
It's a normal size nose. But so then he asked if her stepfather molested her. And she's like, the police just asked me the same thing.
Right. And like, how does that make you feel? Like I have daddy's little fuckhole tattooed on my head.
And he moves in behind her and tells her, you need to get it out. He goes Columbo on her.
He goes full Columbo. Damn it. So we watched Columbo, right? We watched Columbo so hard we forgot to release our episode.
Yep.
And
sure did.
We realized that Columbo's kind of a close stalker. He wants to get right up in there. And that's kind of how Bob gets. He gets right up in there, all up in her nalgas. Like he gets in there like where you could like feel his wet breath on your neck. Talk about, did he ever... You got some trauma.
You got to get it out.
You got to let me
you up for life.
in.
I do got trauma, huh?
Right. I guess I do got trauma, huh?
You have to look this pain in the eye, and I can help you, but you have to trust me.
Right. And he's like,
let me in.
Ugh. And he like looks around, and he's like, all right, let's go.
So back in the car, she breaks down crying, and starts to tell what happened with stepdad.
I never even told my fiance, and she was like, it was like 11.
Oh, so she was real young. Her mama was in a halfway house,
and
she was home with Larry. So mom's been married to Larry for quite some time.
Married Larry. She had to do extra chores when mom was gone, and he told her that one of mama's chores was to massage his, you know what.
At first, he just had me hold on to his, you know what, while we were watching TV.
What? Could you have just
like, hold on
you
to it.
Can't see me, obviously, but just
hold on to it.
It's like Daria dodging the volleyball. Like,
just put your hand up. And so he starts telling her, no, victims blame themselves. You're a victim.
Right. But he says, did Larry have an erection?
Yes.
Ugh.
Then she says the first time he wanted her to give oral, she thought he was going to the bathroom in her mouth.
Oh, God. And he was like, so did that make you feel like a human urinal?
And she's like, what the
what kind of fucking questions are these?
No. So it doesn't ask her right then because first.
Oh, he tells her about the powerful technique.
Do I have your absolute trust?
Yep, that's good.
And she goes, I trust you more than anyone I've ever met in my whole life. And this fucking sinister smile just changes his face.
It's so gross.
And all of a sudden he's like, I've got a new psychological technique I need to try on you.
Super powerful, but like it could be a little uncomfortable. But if you trust me,
we can really make a breakthrough.
Could get into your subconscious, and it could be a little rough. But she's like, all right, no, like I trust you. Let's do it.
And that's when he says, so when you felt like he was going to the bathroom in your mouth, did you feel like you were being transformed into some kind of human urinal? And she's like, what the fuck kind of question is that?
And he was like, no, it's important that you answer with the first thing that comes to mind.
And she's like, I knew I was flesh and blood.
Right. I mean, like, she may be trash, but she's smart.
Right.
Like, she knows that this is untoward.
Yeah.
Like, she goes for it only once.
Yes, because he's like, well, you need to learn to express your feelings out loud. Right. You need to say out loud how it felt. So she says.
And she's like, yes, it made me feel like I was transformed into a human urinal. And he's like, that's very good.
Very good, Vanessa. Now tell me this. And it's absolutely crucial.
Oh, God, I'm like cringing.
Are you ready? Vanessa. Did Larry try to fuck you?
Like, did he tried later on. Like, did you like it?
When Larry fucked you?
You piece of shit. She's like, nope, you pull the fuck over. I'm done with this shit. Like, I don't give a good goddamn.
Yet.
nope, I'm fucking done.
And she pulls the wheel to the side.
Right, she grabs
Piece
the
of
whole
shit fucking pervert. Where's the door handle?
Yeah, and he was like, "You looking for this?"
And he's got the door handle in his hand. And he punches her right in the fucking face.
Yeah, you're the guy in the news, aren't you?
Settle down!
You've been killing all them girls on the freeway, Bob.
And then he's like, "Oh well, I'm gonna slit your throat."
Right? He like makes her get down on the ground and get the keys and put them in the ignition. He cuts her ponytail off.
And he says he'll stop if she promises to behave.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when she's like, "Are you the guy on the news killing all them girls on the freeway, Bob?"
And he laughs.
Why are you doing that, Bob?
Like, as I have reached my fucking limit.
With people like you.
Right. And he talks about these garbage
alcoholics, drug addicts, fathers that fuck their daughters,
and
whore
mothers. I
mothers.
assure you that you are one of them. She's like, I ain't no trick baby.
You're garbage people.
Yeah.
And he tells her she's already manipulating men, even though she doesn't realize it.
Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, that she was running shit on him. And it was like, it's just so intrinsic to your nature, you don't even know when you're doing it. And she like, for a second is like, oh.
Right.
Like, maybe. And then he goes
from
on.
A professional, you're an absolute fucking moron.
Right. He goes on to lecture her.
Yeah.
And like, she wants to know why, like, you think that you could like do shit to me now.
Are you going to do sex to me now?
Right. And like, oh, well, at least he tells her that she's a moron. She's like, well, I might not be smart like you, but at least I ain't no hypocrite.
Yeah, you act like you're on some kind of mission, but all you want to do is get off in a sex
He laughs at her like, "Oh, I'm dying to know what you think a hypocrite is."
But
and
when
she
she
fucking
says that,
is like,
his smile dims, and he's like,
mm-hmm.
"Actually,
right." And
I
he
am
was
just
like,
a pervert.
If we get really intimate, you'll be way past being offended. And she's
oh,
like,
what? You gonna fuck me when I'm dead?
Oh,
and he gives her the eyebrow raise.
Ew.
Like,
and she's like, I'm a human being.
Like that drug addict whore of a mother of yours.
Oh, well, I wouldn't want to meet your mother, Bob.
Oh, and he elbows her in the stomach.
Like, you could talk about my mom, but you can't talk about yours.
We're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. So get your pants down.
You cunt.
Ugh, what did you call me?
Yes. And she's like, I got all these boots and shit, so I got these laces. It's going to take me a minute, so hold on.
And she's like, okay, give me a minute. And she fucking comes up and punches him in the mouth.
Right.
Jumps in the back
seat and holds the gun to his head. And oh, how the turntables.
You just settle down, Bob.
Right?
Settle down right now.
Who's the dumb cunt now, Bob?
Throw that razor out the window. You should have just let me out of the car when I asked
you to. And she hits him several times with the butt of the gun.
Vanessa, look, I just
I just wanted to scare you, and I wasn't gonna hurt you. And
she
she's like
fucking pistol whipping him in the back of the head.
She's like, and she's gonna turn him into the pigs, and he tells her like
something dark and terrible just came over me. I swear I wasn't gonna hurt you.
Right, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna turn you into the pigs, and he's like, well, no. They're not going to believe you. It's going to be just like Mr. Morales. It's going to be my word over yours. I'm going to get out of
jail, and you're going to go to foster care.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to put you in an even worse one.
But I got money.
Yep.
And so
yeah, I'll pay you. We'll part ways, and you'll never see me again. I promise you. And she's like, all right, turn off up here. And he's like, we're in the middle of nowhere. She's like, turn the fuck.
Do like I tell you,
like
dumbass.
I tell you. And they get off the Foothill Freeway.
And before we find out what happens next... We're going to take a quick break. Be right back.
Suspense.
This is B-Word, one half of the host of the Bleach Brothers podcast. My buddy Jake the Hater, Jake the Tailgater, joins me every single week on Sundays to cover things like dadisms, food and beverage, and all things entertainment.
And just like Sunday church, when you get out, you can come and enjoy all the dirty talk and get sanitized.
And we're back.
We have pulled off onto a dark, deserted exit.
And she tells him she knows there's a bunch of sick guys out there like him that get hard off messing women up.
Yep.
That's all you see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
But when a guy goes and does it for real, like you did tonight,
right?
Hurt someone who never hurt them, that makes him a criminal first and a sick guy second.
Yep.
And he's like pretending to cry. There's like no tears.
I'm so sorry. Like I didn't go.
I'm going to ask you an important question. Do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior?
My thing is mistakenly, I have like, do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior? Jesus, Chris. He's like, yes, I do. And she's like, that's really good, Bob. And she shoots him
Fucking,
right in the fucking head.
shoots him in the neck or the head or like, oh my God.
But he doesn't die.
No, he's twitching in the dark and starts gargling and
He's
spitting
like,
blood.
he's screaming and thrashing around and climbs out of the car.
And he's stumbling away and she shoots him twice more in the back.
Several more times. And then like point blank, she
Shoots him in the head.
And then she throws up yogurt in the dirt next to the body.
Yep. And she's like,
like,
oh
praise
God,
that was so fucking bad.
but I was at a loss, so I left it up to you.
Right.
I love you with all my heart, and I hope you don't hate me more than you already do.
Please bless Mama, Larry, and Chopper. Amen.
And then a shooting star crosses the sky.
Right. And she takes his cash.
She
and his
straight
smokes.
rolls him.
Right. She just
Literally.
checks his pocket. She takes all of his shit, and then she heads to a diner covered in blood.
Just fucking
I know.
covered in blood.
Her hands, her face. Like, what'd she do? Rub her face in
Because
it?
she wasn't close enough to get all
No.
bloody like that.
Uh-uh.
And even from rolling him, like, I guess she got
Her
it on her hands
hands.
and then she rubbed her face.
Sure.
I presume. I don't know
She
how she
had
would
to
have
know. But she orders the double He-Man breakfast and a large cherry Coke and asks for, I must look a fright.
You got a washroom.
She goes in there and washes up, and then we see stumbling into the hospital.
Like a first person blurry point of view of a hospital hallway.
And like scares the shit out of this nurse.
And he's like, please call, it's Bob.
It's Bob, and
Please call the police.
Call the
Please
police,
call my wife. And he
And-
drops to the floor.
Right. And then the cops are waiting for Vanessa outside of this diner.
They arrest her without telling her why.
Right. And she's like, what? You ain't even going to talk to me, pig?
Mr. Oink Man.
Yeah.
So then we have Mr. Wolverton up on the surgeon's table.
Mhm. And he's hollering and screaming because he just found out he has to have a radical colectomy.
And the detectives are there trying to interview him while he cries out in pain. They're trying to kill me.
Right. And she needs to get like a massive pound of his guts removed. And Detective Wallace shows him a picture
Of Vanessa.
with her tongue out all
cute. That's her school picture.
And like, yes, this is the gal that shot him. And Mrs. Wolverton is out there and she wants to know
Yes.
this little monster and these earrings.
What were those?
It was like a
chairs or something?
No, it seemed like when you made those solar systems with like the several spinning.
Yeah, it was like a mobile of some sort
Yes,
of an
kind of
earring,
like
yeah.
that.
And so she's out there like, this juvenile, they're like, was a juvenile, so she can only be incarcerated
Right.
until the age of 25. And
Oh,
she's
until
like,
she
oh
gets
no.
out and kills someone else. Like I want her
I
to
want
try
in
it
the
as an
electric
adult.
chair.
Right, gas.
What?
We use the gas chamber in California.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean.
And it seems like already the detectives are kind of giving side eye to this whole situation.
Yeah, like,
why'd your
this
husband
is
have this
kind of
young
a
girl
weird-
in his car off a dirt
like,
road?
why did he pick her up in the first place? Like, this seems odd already on the I-5. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So they're interviewing Vanessa at juvenile hall, presumably.
Right. And she's like, well, you want to hear, I'll talk, but you're going to hear some stuff that you don't want to hear.
And she's like, you're that guy on TV, aren't you? He goes, yeah, searching for the I-5 killer.
Right.
Well, you could stop searching because I took care of that piece of shit.
And he was like, well, he's not dead. He's in critical condition. She's
Yeah,
like,
right.
what? I shot him so many times.
And she's like, I'll talk, but you got to let me call my fiance.
Yeah,
Fiance.
my fiance.
Fiance right after.
Right. And like they go, okay.
So did he admit to being the I-5 killer?
No, but he like smiled all whatever and like he was gonna.
He said he was going to slash my throat and have sex with
that's
my
right.
dead body.
He was like, well, I didn't say I wasn't the I-5 killer. And she's like, yeah, but you didn't say you're gonna slit my throat and do sex to my dead body neither.
Did he say that? Yeah, after he cut off my hair and called me a garbage person.
Right. And then
I asked if he was a killer and he smiled all proud like.
right. And then they start talking about her record.
Right. So she's telling them, well, she just has 7 shoplifting arrests, 3
Right.
arson arrests,
Right.
and soliciting.
One time. And it was like just doing what came natural, huh? And
What's that supposed to mean?
yeah, she
You
gets
think
angry.
prostitution comes natural? Like being a N-word?
Yeah.
He stands up and she's like, oh, you don't like being called that? Well,
Because I don't like being called a natural born whore. And she bop bop slaps him
She
and then throws a
fucking
chair.
throws a chair. She goes WWE.
Yeah, she's like elbow.
Yes.
Again, yeah.
And she
And
calls
like,
him.
well, because even
a lot of
Wallace
names.
is like,
Yeah.
Mike, like, hey, dude, like, Cool
Right.
out.
So she calls him a bunch of terrible racist names.
Right.
And she's like, well, I did that because you didn't say sorry and I knew it'd piss him off.
Right.
And so she wants her phone call.
Right. I believe I get my phone call. So she goes and calls Chopper.
All happy, asks his mom, is Chopper there?
And she finds out he's been dead since she left.
Fade to black.
And now we're in court and they wheel Bob in. Holy shit, Bobby.
Look who got beat with the ugly stick. Ooh, I can't believe such a teeny weeny gun makes such a big mess of someone.
You are so ugly, Bob.
Oh, and I heard you got one of them big old poop bags. You just a big old shit bag.
Ain't you, Bob? You think of me every time you empty that bag of shit.
And the judge is like,
are you
enough.
insane? Are you crazy?
Yeah. One more word, young lady, and you're going to be gagged.
And like... that's it. Yeah, they restrain her and like they make her sit down. They want her to be tried as an adult.
My client is an illiterate child.
Like, oh no, I've seen it. I've been listening.
And I want the youth authority to prepare a report on her suitability to be tried as an adult. And Bob his fucking face. So he's got the halo. He's like dabbing his drool off the side because his face is all fucked up. One eye's like
Face
gone
is so
or all
fucked up,
sewed up.
Bob. And Mimi's over there like, oh, yay.
And so Vanessa goes to the detention
Juvie,
center.
I guess.
Yeah.
Like, that's where they're... And, like, this guard with the sideways, like... like, trying to eat up this scenery. I just noticed because her head was, like this the whole time. Like,
oh. And then Mrs. Collins, who's very friendly.
Oh, yes.
Shows them her and the other new girl to their beds, which is like bunk beds in an open room full of tables and chairs.
Right.
Which this
takes
is,
her out
I
to
worked
Gen
at
Pop.
Juvenile Hall in the 90s.
Is this what it looks like?
And it was an open room full of bunk beds with a communal area. And there was several like cabin
They have a
areas.
boombox?
Maybe. They it was like a weird, they had to go to school.
Right.
There was a cafeteria. It
They
was
were
like
just
living
contained.
at school but also camp.
Weird.
But yeah, you had to stay in your little.
Well,
it wasn't orange. I don't remember what their little. It wasn't a jumpsuit, but they had some sort of uniform.
well, those
thing.
were the ones from Murder.
And what I remember too is in that cafeteria because we ate in the cafeteria because I was a clerical worker and you could eat there for free. And so we were like, well, let's go check it out. So we went and checked it out.
Gen Pop.
And when I was so young when I worked there, kids who
Like-
were in the hall were like, weren't you in my math class? And I had
shit.
to be like, oh, fuck.
Oh,
like,
maybe.
just scurry down the hall. Like, oh,
Maybe.
no. Because I was like 19 working
Yeah.
at Juvenile Hall. And when we ate in the cafeteria, the meat, you could see the boxes in the back, was from Taco Bell.
Oh, shit.
It was the Taco Bell meat is what they served the kids in Juvenile Hall. So it was mystery meat, though. Like, it was in everything. It was soft
like the
tacos. It was like
C-grade Taco Bell
sloppy
meat?
Joes. Yep.
Extra
It was,
sloppy?
yeah, it was all of the things was Taco Bell meat. But yes, this was a fairly accurate representation of what Juvenile Hall was like in the 90s.
Okay, interesting. Because I never went to Juvenile Hall, so
Yeah,
I've
I didn't have to go
don't
there.
know.
I
I
just
didn't have to
worked
go there. But yeah, so they take her and they put her in the bed next to Rhonda,
Which is Brittany Murphy.
our dearly departed Brittany Murphy.
And let's just talk right off the bat about the scars.
Yeah, what they never mentioned why.
So she looks like Frankenstein. She's got
Yeah.
scars all over her face, like she got all stitched
and
back
she's
together.
like sitting all doing that,
And
like,
that's from huffing, probably. Like all her
Oh, yeah.
mannerisms are a result of all the huffing.
because
But
I used to watch that intervention show, and that gal that huffed the duster would do that
Would do
shit
that.
when she was
but
walking
the scars on her face.
Sunshine.
We even
Yeah, no.
Googled this, you guys.
Nope.
Liana even did the research.
We tried.
There is
and there is
nothing
no
about
information as
why
to
she
why
has
she
scarred
has the
up
scars.
face.
It was just a choice.
So Mrs. Collins wants Rhonda to show Vanessa around.
And she's like, "Oh, but I can't because I was touching Wanda all
I'm on
inappropriate."
restriction. Yeah. Oh, Rhonda.
I know.
Mrs.
I
Collins just like,
swear.
I swear, Rhonda, and
And
walks
she's
off.
like, "Well, who'd you kill?
And how do you know I killed somebody?
Because you're wearing the orange jumpsuit."
Well, I left him for dead, but he pulled through.
Right. And she's like, "I'm here for huff and paint.
During the strip search?
They found a gram of tar in my cooch."
Do you like tar?
No,
And
it's
she says,
too
heroin's
much
too
for
much.
me.
Yeah, she's like, too much for me. Rhonda is like, oh, I don't get how you could not be into girls.
Right, like how you could go through your whole life and not be into girls.
She loves girls.
I love girls.
Vanessa's like, you can keep them.
Right, like that's fine. And then like
Here come Mosquito.
Chola alert.
Teardrop.
She's like, "How many?" 3, but you only have to worry about 1. And she comes up with that. Oh, I hate that. Oh God, I
I'm
don't even like
talking to
doing
you.
it. Hey, bitch.
I have one of these stories. It didn't happen to me, but I was with a friend and we were on the playground in middle school, and my friends were from the area around here where you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
And the other girl was from that other area that's against that area in our neighborhood. And I'm with the one girl, and the other girl comes up behind and taps her on the shoulder. And when she turns to look, she goes, "Don't fucking look at me."
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay.
And the girl that I'm with immediately snaps her head back the other direction, like, oh, like all scared. And this little girl's like little.
Yeah, no.
And I go, we're like in 7th and 8th grade. And I'm like, what? I go, don't look at me. You tapped her on the shoulder. And the other girl's like,
shut up.
Like, don't. And I'm like, no, this girl is like 6 inches smaller than me. I had no idea about the dynamics of like
how this works.
Gang politics.
Yeah.
And they were not gang members per se, but they were adjacent, right? And so like their older siblings or parents, things like that.
Those girls too.
And so I had no idea, and so my friend's like terrified, but I was way bigger than the girl, and she like kind of just backed off, like, oh, what the fuck, where like what are you gonna do? And I'm
crazy,
like, I'm fucking huge. Right? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like 5'7" and you're 5'1". Like, come at me. And I'm not a fighter, but it was such a ridiculous situation to me because I had no idea.
Right.
And so when she tapped her on the shoulder and then said, "Don't fucking look at me," it just set me off. Where I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Man. No, I would never.
Who taps someone on the shoulder and expects them not to turn around?
Right? Like, I knew better than that shit, though, but I was, like, kind of cool with those girls. Like, some of them anyway. Like,
right, I was cool with half of them.
There was the ones that you needed to be.
Right.
Because there was one girl that in, like, PE class, she just, like, walked up and slammed this girl's face, like, right into a locker. And it was like, oh, shit. Glad I'm friends with her.
And we definitely had the ones that had razor blades in their bangs.
Oh, yeah, no, I knew those girls.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like where y'all are from, but in California, in Southern California.
I knew a girl with tattoos in middle school.
Yep.
No fucking lie.
Yep. I knew kids doing speed in middle school with tattoos in middle school, like
I wasn't
slinging weed.
But I knew those kids.
Right. I wasn't. But I hung out with those kids and they walked me home from school to make sure that
I
other
went
kids
to school out of fucking district
that.
to avoid this shit, apparently, but it's everywhere.
My mom didn't. I had to walk. So it was like it had to be something close. So if that's the neighborhood we lived in, then because my mom worked.
My mom insisted, or else she was going to send me to Catholic school, which would have been fucking hilarious if she would have tried.
No, I never.
I would have met my husband earlier. That would have been weird.
Oh, that's right, because he went to Catholic school.
He went to Catholic school.
And that's like the only one in town.
Right?
So yeah, you
the
definitely
only one
would have
in
met.
Town. Well, that was the one she wanted to send me to.
Oh, of course.
That one specific, because it was the only one in town. Well, there's a girls one too.
Oh.
There's an all girls one, and then there's the
mixed
co-ed
one,
or what have you. But yeah, I was like, oh, that'll be funny. I'm like, yeah,
Go
pay
ahead.
out that money. Hilarious. I'll just be loose on the streets downtown.
Right.
Good idea.
So Vanessa, she's got Mesquita coming up behind her.
Oh yes, that's right. And she
Vanessa turns and fucking
beats the shit out of her.
Vanessa is the alpha as fuck.
Well, I mean,
she took her down.
She knew exactly what she had to do.
You take down the main bitch.
Because she came at her like
from
she
behind.
had her little point guard. She was like, hey, over here.
And she fucking smashes her head in the wall, beats
Breaks
her with a payphone.
Yep. And then like grabs that
choking
pencil,
her out.
And Rhonda's like, stick it in her.
Rhonda's getting horny for this shit.
Ear.
Yes.
Oh. And they pull them all apart, and she's taken away and like sedated, and she
taken
like,
to solitary.
Right, they put her in the hole, and she has dreams about her grandma waving at her. Vanessa
from the porch of her brand new RV with her yard full of circus things or whatever it was.
Right, like she had like Pee Wee Herman's yard. And then she gets her meals through her slot, and
And they give her a toothbrush in plastic with her sandwich, and she wraps the saran wrap from the toothbrush
and makes a shank. She wraps the saran wrap
from the food around the toothbrush
and
pulls a lighter out of her cooch, I guess.
Yeah, she cooched it
and melts the plastic over the end. Now, how many times, like, why as a kid were we always melting fucking thin plastic?
You know what? I did that
lighters?
Shit with the ribbon
I have a
once and
scar.
like horribly burned
Yeah,
myself
same.
because I didn't know it was gonna like curl up. Because I would light shit on fire all the fucking time. Just to see. What would
curtains on fire
with a tissue.
I almost lit my blanket on fire with a tissue because I think
that was you. That might have been us.
Oh my god! Oh yeah,
'Cause
because
it goes up, you
No,
guys,
Tessa
by
and
the
Liana
way.
have known each other since elementary
We've
school.
known, yeah. So a lot of these experiences are shared experiences, and I think that might have been one of those where we lit a piece of tissue, a piece of Kleenex on fire.
Yeah.
And it goes up, by the way.
Yep, like
Yeah. And it lifts into the air, and I think it
'Cause I did
got on the
exactly-
curtains.
A trail of burning.
Yes, it leaves ash everywhere.
I
It's
did
a bad
exactly
idea.
the same thing. I was homesick alone, probably 6th grade, laying on the couch under that unicorn blanket, the one I made that collage on.
Yes.
The blue unicorn
Yes.
blanket that was a little bit, had
The
the
sick
fur
day
balled up, the
blanket.
sick day
Yes.
blanket. Had my 7-Up with the straw.
Yes,
My
with
cup
your
of
crackers
soup,
and
whatever,
your-
my crackers, and a box of tissue. And because
Absolutely.
my parents smoked weed, there was lighters. And I'm laying on the thing watching fucking Pippi Longstocking or whatever. And I'm holding the tissue and I see a lighter and I'm just
Hey,
like,
I'm
I
bored
wonder
as
what
fuck.
happens when you do this. And like fireball. And I drop it on the blanket, which is highly flammable and covered in lint. And that starts like one of those spread, like that low
Yes.
blue, like
That's what happened
and I'm like,
to my
fuck!
ass.
I like just got up and like smashed the blanket over itself, and thank God it like went out from just dampening it. I did the right thing and didn't try to like wave it. I just smashed it
Yes.
on top and like laid on it.
Yes.
But yeah, not a trace, but
Nope.
yes.
That's what happened to my ass when I was lighting a fart on fire.
I never did that.
I was lighting a fart on fire, and my shorts, my sleep shorts with all the lint on them,
Yep.
caught fire.
Oh shit.
And like my friends that were with me were like slapping
Oh no.
like,
I never did that. That never came up like on a sleepover or anything. I
and
never
my
had
mom
that.
came in and she's like, "Are you doing doobies?"
doing doobies.
And I was like, "What?"
When you were how old?
I don't know. I was like in maybe like
Middle school or something?
No, I think I was in high school. I
Oh, in
think I
high
was like
school.
sophomore year of high school.
I don't know why lighting a fart never came up. That wasn't anything.
Well,
I ever
because it was
did.
one of those things where, like, well, you could light a fart on fire, and because everybody smoked already, everyone had a lighter. So fucking.
Oh my god.
But yeah, are you doing doobies? My mom wanted to know, and I had to tell her no. We were lighting farts on fire.
But yeah, we were always like opening up those cheap lighters and making the flame really high for no reason
I
at
lost
all.
eyelashes that way.
Just because you could.
Yep.
Because someone
The
showed
crack
you.
lighter?
Yeah.
That's what she called it.
And like, but why? You didn't do anything
No.
with it, but go look. Whoosh.
Yeah,
fucking light
it was like a weapon. Then you'd lose part of your eyelashes.
And no, I never did this, but so many of my friends did that happy face lighter burn.
Oh, I did that.
I know.
I did
one.
that. Yep.
Tessa's got. Do you have a scar still or no?
No,
It went
it's
away.
gone now.
I never did it. I never did that. I was a chicken. I
Well, I
did the
hate
like.
being burned. I don't know why the fuck I was doing
Yeah, I
it.
don't like burning is bad.
Nope.
So I
Nope,
pass on
that's
that.
not for me. So I didn't really like hold it there for very long. But yes, I did it.
So anyway, speaking of burning,
Anyhow.
she pulls out this lighter, melts the plastic over the end of this toothbrush.
Wow.
And you hear this?
Wow.
I am the Segway queen.
Yes,
Are
bitch.
you kidding me?
That was smooth as fuck. Decreased. I am decreased. So much smaller now than I was.
You hear Mrs. Collins over saying she's a sophisticated criminal.
Oh, right, the
an
voiceover.
extreme danger to society. She should be tried as an adult. She has antisocial personality disorder. Her prognosis is very poor. There's no reason she can't benefit from corrective behavior modification.
Right. She's way beyond that.
So Vanessa wakes up and cooters her toothbrush.
Yeah, she cooters it.
She puts it in like a tampon cardboard
Yeah,
and
that's what
literally
it seems like.
cooters
And
it.
then she sticks it up her cooter.
And so Mrs. Collins comes in, asks if she can join the others.
Right, as long as nobody fucks with me.
Nobody gives me no more problems.
Right. And then on the news, see, she goes out and they're watching the news.
And the Wolvertons are on television.
Oh, from their giving an interview from their place in Orange. It's a lovely place. Sunshiny.
There are lovely places in Orange. We know
There
this.
are. And my husband's been disfigured. Like, how can he work with children again?
He's
and then
unable to have sexual
She
relations.
talks about how he can't get it up. Like,
on
in
the
their
news.
Come on, Mimi.
And she's mad that that Vanessa ridiculed them in the media. Is
Right.
it worth the $300 you stole?
Oh.
And they ask him if he's bitter.
Oh.
And he's got like this voice box that's on like a
Yes.
walkie-talkie on his chest.
Right? And she's like, my dick may not function, but I have not lost my smile.
And the smile is the fucking creepiest shit
it's like
ever. Oh. And the news is like, they're
They're
heroes.
heroes.
A real inspiration.
And then Mosquito comes in all beat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because she kicks Mosquito's
Like all
ass.
quiet and all beat and sits down in the back of the room.
And when Vanessa gets out of solitary, she's having bad dreams.
And these are like extra makeup tests.
They were
that
extra
did.
scary Bob faces.
Right. Like they didn't have the money to do it this
How
big
much it was.
or whatever, but these are like shots from the test that they did.
So she wakes up in a sweat. And this is the part where like I rewound it 3 times to find out what Rhonda was going to get her. When she's like, I'll go get
party
you some
punch.
party punch. I was like, party I got. And then I'm like, what is she saying? I'll get
She'll
you
go
some
get her
party
some
munch
party
is
punch.
what I wrote. Some party munch.
She'll get you that too.
You're all
She'll
wigged
get
out.
you a party
Aw.
munch.
She'll get you a rug munch, a
But
party
she'll
munch,
get
whatever
you a
kind of munch you need.
She'll munch it. But yeah, no, she said party punch. And I don't
Okay.
know what she meant. Like she meant pruno.
I don't know.
I'll get you some party punch. And I don't want any. It's gross. No, thank you.
So she starts talking about her dreams and that she gets all shrunk down like a cat or dog or something.
Right. And like that's why Rhonda's up. She's so excited she's getting out. She can't sleep.
Right.
And then Vanessa shows her shank and she says, I plan on getting out of here. And she talks about
You
like, well,
made this?
yeah.
She gets down on her knees
Right.
in
And
front
like,
of her.
is that what, did she do that to herself? Because she seems very enamored with the sharp edge.
Well, and how she wanted her to shank that other girl in the ear and stuff. And she was like all into it. So maybe she cut her own face up.
Well, because then she says something about like, are you going to do this to them? And she's like, no, normal people don't get jobs as like prison guards. They're perverts already.
They're perverts already. Yeah. Because she's like, you feel sorry for these people? They're perverts. Every
Right.
last one of them.
Right. Like no one just wakes up and decides to work in prisons.
So Rhonda gets up and tries to get on her. And Vanessa's like just patting her. She's like, we
Right.
can make out, but no fucking.
No
I'm straight.
fucking, I'm straight. And so they go back to court and they confirm that she will be tried as an adult. And she's like, fuck you, chipmunk face, and your fucking skipper wife.
So the sheriff comes and interviews her friends at school.
Oh my God,
This girl, she's like, they're like, you were gonna.
She's the girl that she got busted with soliciting in 6th grade.
In 6th grade, and they're like, oh, you were gonna fuck this guy in 6th grade? I was just
She's
gonna jack him off.
Jack him off. She's like, it's just we thought we were being big, and like within 5 minutes we got busted.
Right. So they ask about if Vanessa was ever hostile to other people, and she's like, you mean like blow somebody's brains out all
and
over the
she
place?
laughs,
And she's
like,
laughing.
You think it's funny, and she's like,
Yeah, I do. So they ask about Chopper, and she's like,
oh, it's pretty exclusive. Like she gets serious.
yeah. And she gets up and she has this
She's
cane
got
and
her
leg
pussy
brace,
out.
and
Like,
she's wearing panties, basically.
No, she's not. She's not wearing no panties
Well,
underneath
she's wearing
them
like
shorts.
them loose ass boxer
Oh my
or whatever.
God, she got a camel toe and she's got this leg brace. That's never explained. Did she have polio?
I don't know what was happening.
Oh
Didn't
my
say.
God.
And so she stops at Chopper's memorial and says, did she say, I know she's blowing it over him?
Yeah.
So they're like, then the one
Then
cop's like,
Mike
oh,
is like, oh.
what do you know? She's a coal burner. And they're like, the other guy's like,
He's
what?
like, what? It's like he made it up on the spot.
Because I've never heard that. But
He's
it
like,
means
she puts the pussy on the chain wax.
yes. Which means her boyfriend is black.
Right. And,
And
he
he's
was
like,
like,
surprised?
aren't you?
Every kid we've spoken to holds her in high regard.
He's like, yeah, but have you seen
These
these fucking
kids?
people?
And all of a sudden, the other cop's like, wait a second.
I gotta
need to
go back
to the crime scene.
And he's like, that's 2 hours away. He's like, no, I gotta do it. And he's like, all right, well, go get it out of your system.
And lo and behold, what does he find at the crime
The
scene?
ponytail.
That she says he chopped off, which he sure did.
And now he knows she's telling the truth about everything.
Exactly.
So meanwhile, the transport pulls off for gas and they got a bathroom break. And Miss Collins takes 4 orange suit.
Well, she had that guard guy with her,
But she takes
did
them
go-
to the bathroom
yeah,
like
away.
unchained,
right.
whatever.
Unchained murder
Teenage,
kids.
lithe, fit.
True.
Okay.
And so and who are those 90s twins? Because they are from something.
I don't know what they're from, but they looked very familiar. But the Sweet Valley twins were offered this
oh, really?
role and they turned it down, I guess.
But those
they're
twins are from
too.
something, and I can't remember what the fuck they're from. 90s
Look it up.
twins.
90s twins.
The twins that were in this movie.
The twins in fucking Freeway.
So Vanessa tells them to be careful. It's about to get wild, and she pulls out her shank.
Right. And Mosquito's like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta take 2 of them.
The
Like,
guard's
you need to
too
have
big.
help. Right. And she was like, well, like, I'm here for double murder. Like, in 2 weeks, I'll be 18. Send me out for 20 years. Like, why wouldn't I help you?
Yeah, I'll help you.
I'll
2
do
hands
it.
are
Like,
a lot fucking better than one, eh?
Yeah, 2 heads are a lot better. Yeah.
And Mrs. Collins is knocking. And so
Right.
Vanessa's like, okay, fine, I'll take your help. And they open the door and she just fucking holds the shank to Mrs. Collins' throat.
And the twins just leave.
They just, walk out.
They walk out. And then, like, Mosquito just comes. And this is where I thought, okay, it took a very long time for me to realize her name was Mosquito.
Yeah, I just called her Teardrop in my notes.
Because she, like, Miss Collins talks about, like, she goes, where's the hack? And she goes, so she went to get a beef treat Mosquito. And I always thought, like, she meant, like, she went to get, like, a beef treat Mosquito. Like, that was what the name of the beef treat was. Like, not
I did
her
not
name.
even hear that.
Because I don't remember ever hearing her name. I didn't know her name was Mosquito. I thought that was the name of the beef treat. It's a beefy treat.
That's why.
And
And that's the beef treat.
It's beef treat.
And so the guard comes out and sees the other girls just standing there and is like, where's Mrs. Collins?
Well, she goes up and she just strangles her.
Oh, so first she slashes the...
Well, no, she starts
Oh,
strangling
no, that's
Miss
right.
Collins.
Yes.
And then the other guard comes out with his beef treat Mosquito.
Yes.
And then, like, the twins try to distract him.
Right.
And then he comes out, or she comes out, Vanessa comes out and just slashes
With
him.
that, and that thing was sharp as fuck. She
Right?
like real cut deep into him, but he's like, you didn't have to kill me. And she's like, I didn't kill you. You dirty little pervert. Give me your
Right.
keys.
Yeah. And then, like, in the bathroom, like, Mosquito's like,
she's beating
stomping.
the shit out of Mrs. Collins.
Yikes.
So Vanessa comes like, we gotta go.
Yeah, let's go.
And they just left
leave
the twins.
She's like, good night, everybody.
Yeah, out of here.
Yeah.
So they go, and the homies are here, Vanessa.
Right. And, like,
Flaco, Guillermo.
It's Guillermo.
Yeah. Guillermo comes to get her. How sweet.
Yes.
They
like,
kiss.
quiero caro.
And he's like, what happened?
Yeah.
I was
Like,
playing with ketchup.
yeah. Like, they have this tight lowrider. They give her a car. Like, this is my little bunky Vanessa.
They give her a car. They give her a gun. He's like, you're giving her my gun?
my fuerte.
I'll get you another one and a cellular and a beeper.
So I get a hold of your ass.
Watch out for the pigs, Vanessa.
Right? Like, she apologizes for beating
Sorry
her
for
ass.
busting your nose. I was just upset that day.
Right? And she was like, well, I was just trying to come on to you.
Yeah,
Like,
I was just
gonna
trying to get
some
you to put
later.
out.
And she's like, I'd put out for you anytime. She's like, shh, I only do that in lockup.
Only in lockup.
Right.
They
And then
hug
like,
and depart.
right. And then morning at the Wolverton residence
And the police are there.
with all white thing, and they have a warrant.
And she's like, what is this about?
I ain't gonna sign that shit.
Certain evidence has come to light, which we are duty bound to investigate.
Right. And they talk about they get Bob to have an escort back to the house, and he is
'Cause
32.
He's at the hospital. Is that what they said?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
She's like, he's having his physical therapy, and they put out the APB about like Bob Wolverton 32 a beg.
Oh, my God.
32.
So they want to wait for Bob to tell her what the warrant's for. So let's go check out this storage shed out
Right,
back.
I'm gonna
You
go
got the
check
key?
this out. Oh, I don't suppose you
you.
have the key. And he was like, I didn't think so. So they go out and
And when they open it, I don't know what kind of precarious stacking job he had happening in this shed.
Right?
But everything rained out.
raining
Magazines of
questionable
child
shit.
pornography, chains, leather things. But like, were those all in one stack? Like with
I don't
magazines
know.
layered between the chains and leather?
Well, everybody sees this shit, and they said something about they found remains too.
Right, and they're like animal, human, who knows?
Yeah, and Mimi
she
is
looks
losing
sick.
it.
She comes out like
She
"Oh,
realizes
fuck."
that he's a monster, and those were children.
Are you aware your husband had mental problems?
And,
those
like,
were those were
children. Like, yes,
children.
just like that Lutz girl that you've been wanting to give the gas chamber to,
And she runs out of the room,
He's
runs
like,
upstairs, runs in the bathroom,
eats
and
off on her, and he's like, "Fuck her!" And then she
blammo
blows her fucking brains out in the bathroom upstairs.
These brains were dried as fuck.
That was her bathroom. That was her
moment
toilet
they-
tank gun.
Right. So where was the gun? So she so quickly somewhere. Yes, that was in the toilet tank.
Right.
And
For
then those
emergencies.
brains were not even drippy. They were like totally
It was
solid to the wall.
Jello. It was like
Jello.
trauma brains.
Yes. And so Bob rolls up and sees that the cops are outside and quickly
He
backs
bails
away.
the fuck out. And then now Vanessa is in Mexico. Like, hey, ladies, donde estás las chicos?
Well, I don't know if she's in Mexico or she's just in the Mexican neighborhood of LA.
Oh, maybe.
I didn't show her.
Sexo.
Yeah.
Sexo.
And she gets in a car and the guy's like, you
Yeah.
suck cock.
Mi buena. You want to fuck?
Yeah.
You suck cock?
Sure, we can do that.
$25.
And he pulls into an alley and asks if she's underage.
He goes, "You're underage, aren't you?" And she's like, "Yeah, is that a problem?" He's like,
Nope.
"Nope."
Young people got to live too.
Gross, bud.
And she tells him to pull his pants all the way down.
She robs him instead. Bless.
Pulls out her gun and robs him. You go, girl.
And he was gonna
Because
stiff
he
her any
had
fucking way.
$5 in his wallet. This
You
son of a bitch.
motherfucker! I'd have shot him in the fucking dick.
Well, that's okay. She gets her. She puts him in his trunk.
Wow.
She makes him takes his pants and panties off.
Get them panties all the way off.
Puts him in the trunk. I'm claustrophobic. Well, I get claustrophobic sucking strange dicks. She gets in. She closes him in.
You little pecker snot.
And then Bob's sitting in this restaurant.
Oh, gross. And this waitress with the digging in her ass.
Oh, so he's smoking. Flo comes up.
And you can't smoke in here.
And he turns with this fucking smile. And
Right.
then he orders his food.
Chicken soup with a
Fucking
fucking
straw.
straw.
And he has this bloody picture of Vanessa's grandma with her address on the back.
Oh no. And that's where he's headed. That's where she's headed. That's,
that's
where
where
the
the cops
detectives
are
are
headed.
headed.
Yep.
And it's all coming down now.
So Vanessa gets there first. She's still got dude in the trunk banging. I can't breathe. I'm dying. Good.
Right, good. Do it quick.
Yeah.
And she's just out here yelling, "Grandma!" Like she doesn't
she
even
doesn't know you exist.
Thank you.
Why are you out here,
Grandma?
And how many grandmas live in the fucking
so
RV park?
many fucking grandmas. I'm
Like,
willing to
how
bet.
come nobody came out going?
Yes.
Yes. Should have been like at least 3 people who came out.
Right? That was unrealistic.
And she finds the trailer, and she does have like animal cut bush, kind of like
She's
her
got
dream.
animal cut bush.
You know, like Disneyland.
She's got
the
the
animal-shaped bushes.
Animal cut bush.
Yep. And all these overgrown sunflowers. So it is kind of
Right.
like a weird version of her dream.
Right. So she knows that's the one. And now the detectives are also rolling in. And they go to the directory first because they're not fucking stupid.
Look at the map and head over. And Vanessa runs up to Grandma's trailer, opens the door, and just enters. Hey, Grandma, it's me, Vanessa, who you don't know who the fuck I am.
And she goes, "I'm here to take care of you forever."
And there's a person in the bed with a shower cap on and their face covered.
Let me see. And it's fucking Bob. Some big,
Fucking
ugly teeth you got there, Bob.
And he holds a gun to her head. You like that? How that fucking feels?
Yeah, and he's just like, "Where's my grandma? You want to see your grandma?" And she turns around.
She's naked with a noose around her neck, dead with like a frozen scream on her face.
And he straight up tells her that he fucked her grandma
Ugh.
after she died.
And a man, like a random neighbor, walks in to talk
I found
to
an
Grandma.
extension cord, and he
Bob
gets
shoots
shot
him.
for his trouble.
And Veronica attacks Bob. She's fucking. I love Veronica.
Vanessa?
Fucking. I mean, why did I write Veronica?
I was like,
I
who?
wrote Veronica in here.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, Vanessa goes ape shit.
It's very much that.
Yeah, which amazing. She
Yes.
like fucking wrestles his ass.
She fights him. Like, there's all this shooting, and the detectives
firing
close in.
wildly.
Yeah, the detectives close in, and she handles this shit.
She smashes his head in the motherfucking floor, gets
She
up on his back.
strangles him with the phone cord, and
She
he's
sure
finally dead.
The cops come in and see Grandma's body and Bob on the
Oh,
floor.
shit. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
And they go out. She's sitting outside, mascara running everywhere.
Oh, y'all got a cigarette?
And they smile.
And that
she
perfectly
smiles.
streaked
Yes.
mascara and eyeliner. It's so good. And they laugh like it's the end of an 80s sitcom. Roll credits.
Yep.
And the insane accordion calliope music a la Danny Elfman.
Yes, yes.
And like, this movie is so fucking weird. It's so dark.
It is.
It's so good.
It's good. If you guys haven't seen this and you made it this far,
I know.
you should definitely
There's
watch
a sequel
Freeway.
that's even, I
And we
I
haven't
dare to
seen
say
it.
worse. I've seen it.
I haven't seen it. Oh,
Natasha Lyonne.
yeah,
It's
I need to see that.
Hansel and Gretel, and I venture to say it's even worse. I've only seen it once.
I need to check that out.
Yes.
So we finally have some yearbook signings from Cindy at the Crime Diner podcast. She says, fun movie reviews, 5 stars. The Nefarious Nightmare podcast says, I have something you can do. I'm an Earth girl. Enough said. But also, hey, my name's Microsoft. Can I crash at your place tonight?
Hot.
And one more from, it looks like Fails from the Crypt.
Okay.
Belly laughing. Discovered the pod from their interview on another podcast. Ended up laughing out loud at each episode.
That's so cool.
So super cool.
Yes.
And Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Like,
Yeah.
subscribe, rate, review,
Keep
do all
it
the
going.
things, share our posts, keep
Spread it.
like
spread
fucking
for us is divine.
like Ramona lets his herpes.
Aw.
Spread us around town.
Spread it around.
And on that note, we will talk at you next week.
And until then, later, Doomers.